Hey guys, so this is What Music Means to Me, and today I'm going to talk about the song Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. It is, I would say, so far the most talked about song from her album. I've heard the most from it, especially on TikTok, and it had, I would say, the first music video that we've seen out of all the songs on there. And I think there are definitely a lot of meanings when it comes to this particular song. When it comes to anti-heroes in general, I think a lot of us relate to them in a lot of different ways because we are able to see their flaws. They are not just they're not perfect. Like, we know there are issues that they're going through, things that we can identify with ourselves, to where that's why they're an anti-hero. There are things that are maybe questionable in their actions, but we can relate to it because we have seen the problems or the issues that they have gone through, such as some relatable anti-heroes that a lot of people know. Wanda. We have, Wanda, Scarlet Witch. We have Loki. We have Klaus Mikaelson. We have, God, a lot of them are slipping off my mind for some reason. And, Deadpool is definitely one. There are many more to constantly list. Don't get me wrong. But those are, some just off the top of my mind right now that I think a lot of us can relate to and understand the most. And that's why a lot of us like anti-heroes. We can see their flaws. We can see these things and relate to them in such a way that maybe in some cases we can't relate so much to a full-on hero and a full-on villain. And that's why a lot of people love anti-heroes. Now, with this song, it has also been a topic of conversation, because I've seen videos talking about some of the lyrics regarding this song. Sorry, I'm also wiping off my whiteboard as I'm doing this. And so with this song, Taylor talks about her mental illnesses. She talks about her depression, and she also talks about her disordered eating. And if you've seen the music video, a lot of that is also showcased. And I think with some of these things, some people can definitely relate to them, some can't. And that is that's perfectly fine. I know some people have had issues with some of the words that she used in the second verse. I'd say she describes more how she feels about her disordered eating by using words like big or large, and some people didn't really like that. But I don't also think not saying you need to experience it to understand it, but sometimes with expressing yourself, yeah, some people aren't going to like it, some people will. And that's fine. That's life. With these particular lyrics, though, I don't think, with listening to this song over and over again and then reading the lyrics, she wasn't trying to be hurtful in any way. This is just how she feels. And that's what sucks, is sometimes when you talk about this stuff, no matter who you're with, sometimes it will be taken a certain way, and that just happens. So let's go through some of these lyrics. They definitely, a lot of them have different meanings for, I think, different people, but overall, I think, the general message is this, and that's what I'll kind of talk about. And I'll also talk about some other potential meanings as well. And there is an article that I read talking about some of these lyrics. I'll also post that down below if you want to take a read on that and see, what do some of these mean in some other ways. Okay, So the first line here that I think everyone at this point has either heard or not heard is, "It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me." Now, if you've heard this song, it sounds very different in the chorus, and then the last time it's said, it sounds like a little bit more exhausted. Now, in the article that I also have that I'll post down below, they talk about this as well. But I think it's because, after a while, you constantly think you're the problem. And it honestly just gets exhausting. You, I think, try. And you yourself have identified, like, oh, maybe I'm the problem because, either you know of your different issues, you know of your different faults and your flaws, and it's like, hey, I'm the problem, it's me. And now as you're getting like closer and closer down the line, time keeps going on, it is just very exhausting. Like, I think we as humans, we know our faults and flaws, and we try our best to do what we can, and either people can understand that or they can't. And we ourselves can only do so much to, I would say, make things better in a sense. And I think this is a very good representation of, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking inside, and then how does this carry out as time goes on? I think that is done very well and very artistically. All right, now for the second, kind of part of this. Lines that stuck out to me, and I'm a monster on a hill, too big to hang out, slowly lurching toward your favorite city. I honestly probably need to scroll down just a tad. There we go. Slowly lurching toward your favorite city. Now, again, I think this verse is talking a lot more in regards to her disordered eating, and anyone who has had, I'd say, a failed body perception in regards to how they think or feel about their body, and maybe has experienced disordered eating, body dysmorphia, anything of that kind, into how you look with anything in regards to your body. I think this is something that has definitely touched a lot of people. Not only just this verse, but as well as the first verse. And I know I haven't talked about that one as much, just because, for me, I've had a hard time, identifying so much with that particular portion. This one, I think, though, speaks volumes for many. Like I said, it's been very much a topic of conversation with some of the words that are used, like too big. I haven't seen large really being used, but with how people feel in regards to body dysmorphia and whether that then attributes to having an eating disorder. Some people don't get that, some people do. This is very much how I know I felt or feel half the time when I look in a mirror. When I look in a mirror, I definitely am like, I'm too big, definitely feel like I can't hang out, don't want to do anything, don't want to, I would say, ruin a good time. Definitely feel gross and disgusting. So, you just kind of stay in. And then if you move on to the second portion, though, of this, or the next line, it's pierced through the heart but never killed. It kills you. You, and not in the literal sense, but a portion of what you think would make you happy, if you want to hang out with friends, if you want to go and enjoy an activity and you just feel like you can't, yeah, we're pierced through the heart, we're not killed, we're still here, but it hurts nonetheless. It hurts us mentally, and makes things just constantly worse. And so that's where, like I said, this verse for me has, I would say, been more impactful than the first verse. I think the portion, though, of this song that I love the most, just because it's honestly true. Like, so the bridge in and of itself. So I have this dream. My daughter-in-law kills me for the money. She thinks I left them in the will. The family gathers round and reads it, and then someone screams out, "She's laughing up at us from hell." So again, if you've seen the music video, this depicts it perfectly. But essentially it's saying, like, to me, you're going through all these things. Finally it comes, I would say, down to the end of the road. Of course, it's normally attributed to a daughter-in-law or someone outside of the family who comes in, is like, oh, like, you come from money. We've seen the, television shows, the movies. And essentially, especially how she has this depicted in the music video, is, she didn't leave, like, anyone anything. Like, the beach house, I think, goes to the cats or becomes a cat sanctuary or something, and, like, everyone gets, like, 13 cents or something. It was the funniest thing, because I'm like, honestly, me. Because it's like, like, you're not gonna get anything. Like, like, if you, to me, how I kind of think this through and feel about this is, if you have family members and, you don't have to write a will, but in most cases people do. And when you do, to me, I really think this stuff out, like, thoroughly, and I'm like, okay, who deserves it? Like, who has, like, been there, who's done everything? Not saying you have to, like, rub my feet, but, like, who is really family? Like, who's there for you? And if you're not there, then you're not going to get anything. And that's where I think this really, I would say, speaks volumes for many different reasons. Because it's like, after all these thought processes and everything, you finally come to learn, it's like, yeah, I don't really owe you anything. Like, you don't get anything out of this. So that's honestly been my favorite part out of this whole song. And when it came to the music video, now I know this is kind of out of order, but I do feel bad not talking at least a little bit about the first verse. Now, to me, when I hear this line in particular, I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser. Now, I feel like a lot of us have heard or felt like, okay, the older we get, the wiser we'll get. And I think that's true, but I also think it's just, okay, how much have we experienced? How much have we gotten? Because there are definitely some people out there that I'm like, have we gotten wiser with our age? Like, I think that is something where it's not set in stone. We may get wiser based on our experiences and kind of how we go through things, but if you haven't gone through anything, just because you get older doesn't mean you get wiser. And of course, when midnight becomes my afternoons, when my depression works the graveyard shift, God, I gotta scroll down. All of the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. Now, like I said, this one is very much talking about her depression, how it definitely feels with having depression. Like, for me, I don't experience or relate too much to these feelings. Now, what I do relate to is, at least from my understanding of this lyric, is when my depression works the graveyard shift, all of the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. Because for me, when I think about, maybe people that I haven't been able to keep in contact with, people that I just haven't had the time for, just haven't felt like, doing anything, because I'm, in a mood. That is very much how I feel. At least for me, I constantly think about, the people, how this is read, I've ghosted, stand there in the room. I think about, okay, who would feel that way? And I try not to think about it, because I'm like, look, I need my time too, and I'm not in a mood. I can't. And you think about it, but you're just like, I can't. I don't have the energy. And so that's where I just really feel like this song, in many different ways, has many different meanings and relations for different people, because not everyone's going to be the same. Not everyone is going to feel the same way about a lyric that maybe I described it. And so I do think that this is a very popular song for different reasons. And those reasons, I think, are very valid. This is a very telling song and a very in-depth song. God, I cannot speak. For many different reasons. And it makes you feel seen. It makes you feel heard. You can listen to this and you also think of, I would say, the characters that we like in our shows that seem very anti-hero-esque. And we're like, I get, I now relate. I could see, I get it. And not just in that way, but also in your own way. We have our own thoughts and feelings and our own flaws. And so I just think it's a really telling song for so many different reasons. And you can like it and not like it. That does not make you, I think, a bad person at all. Personally, I did not think that this was going to be my favorite song, and then it has. So here we go. So give her a listen. I will also put the music video down below if you want to take a listen. I will also post the lyrics, and like I said, there was an article I read, and I'll post that down below that kind of has maybe some different interpretations that you might be able to kind of see or relate to. So have a great rest of the day. If you want, feel free to write anything in regards to this song or how you relate to it, how it made you feel, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.